Hi, I'm Colton Arnold here with the A-List, and with me today I have Matt Roldewald. Thanks for being on the show.
Colton, good to be with you. Good
Thanks.
to see you.
And what I really wanted you on the show for was to see how you got to what you are today. And what is that?
Well, I mean, they always tell you that you need some talent and a lot of luck. And I've had a lot of luck along the way. I've fallen out of jobs, and another saying is failing upward. I've been laid off twice and let go of a job, and just kind of been a victim of numbers game. And sometimes you just get the opportunity, and you have to take advantage of it. And the current job that I'm at with NBC5, it's been a very, very fun experience, but one I never thought I'd have. So it's been great.
Yeah. All right. What are the qualifications that you need to work at NBC5 and do what you do?
Well, for me, I have a journalism degree from Indiana. And not to say that you need something like that, but the first thing you need to do is understand writing and just understand how a show works and how a news broadcast works. And you have to have those journalistic instincts. I mean, even though I'm doing traffic and it may not seem like I'm putting journalistic things together, I really am. I'm looking at, particular roadways and particular incidents out there, a certain crash, a certain delay that's really backed up. At this time of the year here in December, we're talking about snow and how the road conditions are changing a lot. So
yeah,
that all of a sudden puts you into a different element, and it becomes more of a news story too. So for me, it's the ability to understand what stories are important, and even whether it's just organizing. Well, this crash is not important to this many people than this crash.
Yeah.
And going from there, and for me, it was just having the presence and having the personality, the ability to make traffic interesting, and that's what we try and do. We have a lot of fun, and we just try and make our pretty much monotonous job easy, because when you're watching it, you're expecting to see the same thing every day, the delays in the same spot. We're just trying to tell you whether it's no big surprise or trying to tell you where the surprises are going to be.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of your previous jobs. How about that Sky 5?
Sky 5. Well, basically that's what led me to do what I'm doing right now. And Sky 5 is being the traffic reporter in a helicopter. And I just filled in for our guy Mike Lorber, who's currently and it's been in Chicago for more than a decade, doing news reports and traffic reports from the helicopter. And the one thing with him is that he was a great teacher for me. And they just said, "Well, would you like to fill in for him?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely, I would." And at that time, I was doing kind of some radio fill-in, some things here or there, some kind of odd jobs. So this was my opportunity to get some TV experience in a very unique way. At this point, I'd never been in a room like this where I'd really stood up with a microphone in front of a camera. Yeah. I mean, I had in college a little bit, and that's what I'd wanted to do, but I found a different direction with my own career, and here we are about 4 years out of college, and I was in a helicopter doing a traffic report. One particular day, I was doing a drive-by shooting breaking news story in the helicopter, and if you look at my resume, I have zero qualifications to be reporting on that. But it goes back to your fundamentals: journalism, the who, what, why, when, and where, whatever order it is. But having the basics of understanding, look, here's the story. I have to tell the story. I have to tell them what's happening here. And it was something where I had about 10 minutes of warning. I got up there, and we put the information together, and we fired off a report within 10 minutes. And it felt real good to kind of get that story out there. And it was one of my memorable ones from being part of Sky 5. It's just been a lot of fun. It's great in the chopper. Who doesn't want to go in a helicopter and work?
I don't mind that. Was it kind of scary the first time up there?
It was a little bit. It was one thing where as a kid, I had a fear of roller coasters.
Yeah.
So when I got over that in high school, as part of my physics class, you kind of have the physics day at Great America, and you just have no choice but to start going on these. And so I kind of got over that, and so it was kind of fun for me after that. But I never really made it a practice. And here I was reminding myself, I don't do well with heights, and it's kind of like riding in a plane. And the only time I really get nervous is when we have to go somewhere quick, and they take that thing and they dip it, and then they get the tail moving so you can get some speed. And that's when you notice, oh, I can see my feet, and there's the ground right past it, because it's all kind of enclosed by plexiglass. So it is a little nerve-wracking. But the first time I was on the air in the chopper, it was 10 degrees. It was freezing cold, and we had trouble getting our camera on because of the conditions were so foggy and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Little stories like that, it makes you remember where you come from.
That would kind of freak me out too a little bit.
You had to deal with everything that day, so.
Yeah. How about CLTV?
And that's kind of part of getting myself into television, and with the CLTV reporting and the way we did it back when I was filling in back in like 2005, 2006, it was one of those elements, and it's kind of like this in the morning if you watch in the morning. It's kind of a voiceover on television. And so, and a lot of those skills I kind of incorporate now because I'm not always on camera. I'm trying to direct the picture. I'm trying to say, look at the left side of your screen, look at the right side of your screen. And so for us to incorporate maps, it allowed me to understand the mapping system that I currently use right now, because when you see me on Channel 5, the maps and behind me, I'm drawing those maps. I'm putting those elements on a screen. Some of it's already fed through our technology, but basically, I have all the tools to kind of put these little icons and little text boxes and the travel times all together. So, that's stuff that I have to put together through the use of our team, our traffic editors, our brilliant traffic editors, who help so much. But using the system and the information that they give to put in our system, it was a very basic system back in 2005. Technology has come a long way since those maps. But it was my first training ground, and it helped.
That's good. Well, I've been hearing a lot about the Score. What is the Score?
Well, the Score is a sports radio station, and it's my first love because when I went to college, and really as a kid, I always wanted to be a play-by-play announcer, like a basketball play-by-play announcer, or something like that. And that's what I was really pursuing when I went through college, just some sort of sports announcing. I didn't know if it'd be TV, I didn't know if it'd be radio, I didn't know if it'd be print. But I made sure to get as many skills as I could. And I figured I'd be as well-rounded as I could. When I was in college, I wrote, I was on the radio, I did a little TV here or there. I kind of balanced my resume out. And I ended up in radio in Indianapolis. And I came up to Chicago after that job ended and looked around and was with ESPN, WMVP, and then went over to the Score after that. And the Score has been great because it's the Chicago radio station for Chicago sports fans, and it's the station that just gets it, and they just have fun. It's a bunch of guys, and they really incorporate the idea of fandom into their broadcast, and it's a real well-oiled machine with some of the brilliant minds in radio production today are working for CBS Radio and the Score, and it's just so fun to be a part of, and it allows me to let loose a little bit then, because this TV, you got time. I got 45 seconds for a traffic report. With CBS Radio and with the Score, it's like just try and be under 2.5 minutes, I guess, with your report. Or if I'm hosting, it's like just why don't you get out a break at like 45 after. And so it's a lot more free form, and it allows you to get your opinions out there, which is kind of fun.
So I heard you worked at the Tribune.
I did, and a lot of what I know about this place is through that. And I covered high school sports, and it was after I left Indianapolis, I came back to live at home at 24 years old, back in my parents' basement, and it was very humbling, and so I had to start over. And the first thing I did was take my writing skills, and I thought, well, let me call the Tribune and see if I could do some stringing. And it was very basic work. It was, per story or per game you covered or whatever, and I started doing that. And as I grew with other jobs, job opportunities came and went, or I took those and then moved on to other places. I always kept the Tribune, and up until about a year ago, and it was nice to kind of get out and go cover some high school sports. And it's kind of one of my true loves of covering sports is you get all these professional athletes, and it's a machine, and with college it's just like, it's almost like pros in some sense, but you get to the high school level, you get the real grassroots, and I enjoy the recruiting aspect of it, just kind of the evaluation part of it. So being a part of the Tribune, you learn another aspect of the medium, and especially how things have been struggling in print media lately, and hopefully it will improve, but I was kind of a victim of that as well. So, but it was just, for me, it was a timing thing where it was like, I finally just don't have time to do this, which is too bad. But I still enjoy it, and I still keep in contact.
All right, let's go back to or NBC5. And what's this Chat with Matt? Every time I go on your website, I see Chat with Matt. What is that?
Well, Chat with Matt is a web page we put together a while back. When we did this in January, earlier in the year, and the thought our co-anchor had, Rob Elgis, was that, Matt, you're not doing a whole lot during the 5 o'clock hour. And he's kind of right, because there's not a whole lot of traffic at 5 o'clock in the morning. And the idea was to kind of interact ourselves with the website a little bit more. And so thought it was a good idea to have a live chat during the show between somewhere in the 5 o'clock hour. So we had changed it up a couple of times. It's on hiatus right now. But we're hoping to bring it back. And it was a real neat way to get immediate feedback. And this is really before Twitter took off. This is really before Facebook took hold. And with those two mediums now, it's amazing how much we get instant feedback. But this was just another way to kind of keep the lines open as we do stories. When we do stories and we get mistakes, or if we do stories and somebody has a great point, they add it to it. While we're running the story, we can turn around like 30 seconds as it ends and say, well, so-and-so from Riverside says, you should think about this angle. And wow, that's a great point. And that's just another way for our show to kind of open things up to keeping viewers, and in this day and age, we're trying to keep as many viewers as we can. And in the morning, it's really difficult to do because a lot of people want a couple things. They want their weather, they want to know how long it's going to take to get to work, and they're curious about what's going on in the news. And then they shut the TV off. That's about as much as we get. So anytime we can keep them a little bit longer, or anytime we can get them to log on to the website, or maybe even jump onto the website with their iPhone or whatever mobile device they have on their way to work, preferably by train, because you don't want to do that in a car. But it's just another way for us to stay connected with people in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, just like the viewers, I like to think about, look at the weather, and I don't really have to worry about traffic yet since I'm not really driving yet. But I also watch NBC for Dance Fridays. What is that all about?
Dance Friday is probably the best and worst idea I've ever had. And in a sense that it's really helped me be comfortable on camera. And when I first started doing traffic on an everyday basis in a studio, in a suit and tie, I had never looked at a camera before on a consistent basis and worked with a camera. I didn't know how to stand here and tell you how the traffic was like this. It was one of those strange things. I had to learn how to do that. And over the course of a 6-month period, I was gradually getting easier with it and calmer with it. And about that time, we started Dance Friday, and I just, my personality comes out with it. And at the end of our show, on Fridays, we dance for maybe 5 minutes. It's not very long, but people watch. It's appointment viewing because they want to see what kind of idiocy we're going to do this week. And for a while, I was the king of it. I think Zoraida called me the best dancer on the set, and I just was like, I think that's like calling someone the tallest midget. Just in the sense, because I'm not that good of a dancer or anything. My sister's a dance team coach. I'm not even the best of my family, for sure. But it was one of those things where it was a chance for us to have fun, and that allowed me to kind of be comfortable and cool and relax a little bit. But I say the worst idea because it's fun, but it's silly just because it is what it is, and it's all on tape. It comes back to get you when you don't want it to. But it's still fun, and it also has allowed us to make it a vehicle for charities and organizations to help promote themselves and whatever benefits or whatever interests they have. And I think that's important for us to kind of reach out to the community that way. And it's been a lot of fun for us especially in the plaza in the summer. There's just nothing like it. Our Halloween shows have been wonderful, our holiday type shows, and the dance off that we had a year ago was just a lot of fun with the Cincinnati Traffic Reporter, and it was up for an Emmy Award. So I mean, if they can put that up for an Emmy, then anything could be an Emmy.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt, for being on the show.
Yeah, this was fun. I had a good time.
This is Matt Roldewald. I'm Colton Arnold, and thanks for watching the A-List.